from a discussion, just planning this session, and 3 seconds later we are live on YouTube. So Abbe, that is what you called Abbe. So
yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So
yeah.
Abbe, Christopher, and Erik, welcome.
Thank you.
So we are here today at the very big moment when we have our weekly blog, video blog in the course, and this is something that will happen every week. So I hope that I can promise this. We will really make it happen. You perhaps will see Erik, Abbe, and Christopher many more times during this course in the video blog. Let's see. But we might also see other guests. So it's a bit of a surprise what happens. But the main point with this session is a bit more informal. So this is the time when we can be a bit more informal. Maybe you want to ask something that is even like on the edge of the course, that's fine. And also to address what has been done during the week, what we have had, the experience we've had, if we have made any changes and something that affects the course, and obviously what will happen next week. So it's really a point for you, like a placeholder each week, when just watch the video blog, and you will hopefully get a feeling on where the course is at, or something like that. And I see that we have 8 people watching live now.
8 strong ones.
You wave.
Yes.
Yeah. So in that, I'll start with showing the agenda. So, and I can start just by like, okay, how to find the information, how the course is designed. Just a very short update that yes, I did spend some time just yesterday in updating the course webpage, and you should all of you should have that as a bookmark in your web browser at this moment, because if there is one single point of information, if you only need one thing, it's that thing. You will find Discord from there, you will find, well, the planning, the study guide, and such. But there is now a section with presentations. So those static material, like presentations from Anna Förster and from Marco Senaro, which we had the other day, and also actually I've put up some presentation material from myself, which I haven't even covered yet, but you might as well just look through it if you want to be, well, looking at it in forward. That's okay for me. And the same thing, actually, I don't think the tutorial for the workshops are there, but we might just add them so we have all like static information in one place. But I know that Erik, you have access. You can actually edit and put it in those links for yourself. So, okay. So that's, please keep the feedback coming. I think that that is what I say. I think that's at least what I try to have as a signum for this course. Any feedback that you give us, we will be very, very fast in responding. And I just said that to Abbe, Christopher, and Erik, and the others before that. I'm so impressed that you have picked up on all feedback. It's absolutely the right mindset. Even if you can sometimes disagree, I mean, but you always have to listen and try to be better, because we have a big potential to be better than we already are. So so please keep that coming. So so there has been a lot of constructive feedback. That's super, super duper. But we might want to just mention something about that. It's that the course might not fit everyone. I mean, it can't be that it's a perfect fit for 300 people. That would be possible. But we will try our best to explain our idea with the course and try to get you to understand it and follow along. And Erik, what's the idea? What are we doing, in your words?
What we are doing?
Yeah, but like the general idea of how we are running this course.
I'd say it's
a hard question, isn't
it's
it?
a hard question. What are we even doing here?
What are you doing here, Eric?
We're allowing, because really the bare minimum of passing this course is super low. It's you can finish that very quickly, and the rest is just infinite potential. So I think that's, as you said, feedback, reaching that potential. I mean, it sounds cliche, but that's really what it's about.
Yeah. And when you say the bare minimum, that's maybe in your perspective, because it is an introductory course, and I do think that we need to be very careful of like saying it is something is easy. Everything is easy when you have done it, but actually just installing VS Code, if you haven't done it before, it's not easy. I mean, so we do have these people in the course as well, and that's why I think the workshops are so important. Should we just continue on to the next agenda point, the workshops? I know that we'll experience and lesson learned from workshops. So that's a very open topic. So, but yes, please. Any of you? Yes.
I mean, I can say like we have tried to adopt the workshops according to the feedback we are getting from students. As soon as we get something, so we try to adapt it. So I don't know exactly how do you have anything to add, Eric?
Because we had a thing in mind when we started, and actually it sort of worked. We haven't changed too much from the initial idea, because we have an intro, then we have we help it with the setup and all of those things, and then a wrap up in the end, and that seems to be appreciated. And we have, but as Abbe said, we made from the feedback we got, because we ask for feedback in the end every single session to get that tiny edge of what can be improved. So
one of the things was they wanted to have the tutorial one day ahead, so we tried to give them the tutorial. Maybe it wasn't really one day ahead, but it was the night before.
But the hard thing about that is that we're creating the tutorial the night before, so it's not like we have it and we're not publishing it. It's that we're creating it, and as soon as it's done, we're publishing it.
We were working to the last minute, and even after we published it, we're like, oh no, we need to change this. We need to change. Oh, this is wrong. This logic doesn't work. We need to change. We update it. So that's why we also have comments in the tutorial. I think that makes it also very good.
So it's sort of creating the material as we go, and it's also a very interesting approach, because this differs a little bit from last year, when it was actually last year. I mean, we always talk about last year, so I mean, you might be tired of hearing this, but I mean, at least Abbe and Erik, you were students last year, and Christopher, unfortunately, you weren't, but I'm
here now.
Yeah, you're here now, and that's what matters. But the thing is that it was so messy last year, and we still did it. So I mean, what we are doing is sort of on top of that.
Exactly.
Yeah. So I would say that there is already like the roadmap that has been created. It has been done now, but it's like the idea was probably there some time ago, and hopefully this will end up in something really good. Also, just being able to work iterative and try to do things as they come. But we do have a plan with the workshops, so don't think that it's not planned at all. It's more that you're actually writing and updating the tutorials as you hold the workshops, which is a fantastic approach. I like, it's super good. And a lot of the learning material is, I mean, we are basing much of the introduction part on like the documentation from PyCom. So it's, I guess that you're using that much as the base, or
absolutely,
yeah. So and anything more? Like, I mean, you must have been so tired. I mean, did you? I mean, there have been 2 days of workshops, and you still have some workshop left today, haven't you?
Yeah.
On the midsummer, the day before midsummer, and so
Yeah,
that's great. But on Tuesday evening, how did you feel?
I was tired. I was done.
Yeah,
but
me too, actually.
I think 2 of the TAs were still up at like 12 or 1 o'clock midnight working.
Yeah,
exactly.
I saw them.
Yeah. So I don't know.
yeah.
I think because we think this is really fun too, not just the students. So it doesn't feel like work. So that's why we can just keep going.
Yeah. But you are getting paid, so
we are getting paid. We're not slaves.
So just will be formally said that, well, so no one thinks that I'm like using people without payment. That's not how it should be. So,
that's not how it is.
No. But I mean, it's really good setup, and I do like that we are doing this in distance. And I mean, Christopher, you're one of my students in Kalmar, but Erik and Abbe, you're actually students from far away. We haven't physically met ever. I hope we will, but we haven't so far, and we still have managed to do this. So this is really, what I think is really cool is that we do have like a really distributed setup of not only students, but also the teaching team and the TAs. Everything is distributed not only over Sweden, but all over Europe and the world. And many of us teachers also haven't ever met physically before. So just think about that we are like really doing something which is, I think it's pretty cool. So and learning by doing. So maybe we should just skip to the next. So common problems and solutions, so we don't forget that one. Is there like one thing that you should that you thought of this we should told everyone like directly, like you don't use faulty USB cable, like those kind of things? Or is it like one thing that has you've helped like 10 people with? Or
I mean, there was some kind of problems with the MacBook M1 chip.
Really?
Yeah, so if you need to use PyMaker, so you have to use the Intel version of Atom or VS Code.
But I can vouch for that. I actually am running on the M1 now but it works. But I don't think they have updated Atom to native Apple yet. So I haven't even noticed it, but then I know why. So
you mentioned the USB cables, and we actually got 2 people, I think, who had just super old micro USB cables that can't transfer data. They just charge. So it's very confusing because you will connect your expansion board and your Lo-Pi 4 with the micro USB cable, and your Lo-Pi 4 will light up as if it's working, but the computer will not recognize that it's connected.
No.
So you think the cable is working, but it's actually not.
No.
But how many students have so far? Like, do you have like an idea of I mean, in total, like during the workshops, how many have spent time in workshops during Tuesday and Thursday now? So
more than 25 each time, right, Erik?
We
know that for sure.
That's a very conservative answer, isn't it?
I would say, if I were to guess, somewhere at least above 100 people on Tuesday.
Yeah.
And it could be up to 150.
Yeah, that's my guess too.
And today we saw many people this morning. It was close to 50, I think. but there was much fewer the afternoon session. So,
yeah.
But we expect there are the most amount of people in the evening actually. So
yeah, I think that was. I think last year we had most people on the evening. So, but then there wasn't a football championship at the same time. So
yeah.
Yeah, but the morning and the evening sessions are the most popular. In the beginning, for this recent session we had at 11 o'clock, we didn't even have 25 people, I think, and then you made an announcement and more people came. So I don't know if people are just not keeping a track of time or what it is, but
yeah,
I think the announcement channel is really good tool.
Yeah. We are going to talk about Discord as well. So, but I mean, in terms of planning, there was actually one question. Why didn't we put the workshop schedule on the same schedule as the lectures? And I thought that was a very valid question, but also my answer to that is that is really by design, because as I see it, the workshops are really like it should be like very much on your end if you want to join in or not. It's something that happens there, and you should be able to do the course without even joining up on a single workshop.
Yeah.
But you are missing out the point of the course. Yeah.
Yeah, I think a lot of people think the workshops are obligatory.
Yeah.
So I think they misunderstood it. So then they get worried when they miss one, maybe.
Okay. But I mean, if they think that and they join in and they realize that this was fun and it was needed, so maybe that it's not that. But that might have been a bit unclear when I did the study guide, and I'll actually have to think about making that more clear. But now we can at least say that they are not obligatory.
Yes.
Those things that are obligatory, if you want a grade, well, nothing is obligatory. You can just skip out. but if you want a grade, the quizzes are obligatory, and you need to hand in a tutorial and do a peer review. And those that wonder, what's the tutorial? That is also one thing that we will cover that. I don't want to put too much like very specific information just now. I know that there's a lot to think about. Let's just focus on one thing at a time. But the tutorial will be, and those of you that want to skip ahead, it's already there. You can read the tutorial. It's in the study guide. But I will make like a recording on how to exactly do the project just in, I would say, in 2 weeks-ish time. So
yeah, because we got some feedback too that some people don't want to read to get information; they want to watch and do. So I think a video would be really good.
Yeah, but that's I would say coming, and also be very specific if there is something that you think is missing. I mean, please say. It's one thing that we both, I would say, I and also you are actually a big part of designing the course as TAs, because you're handling the workshops. But if there is something that you are thinking, this is missing, I would have learned better in this way, please say, because I have an idea on how it should be done. But I mean, if no one says otherwise, I might still think it's a good idea, even if it's not. So, I mean, it really depends on the other end. But my idea is really that you actually learn by doing, and you learn also by actually not succeeding. You learn by failing. So too much like very, very specific information. I know you can probably recognize yourself in this, Erik, Abbe, and Christopher, but if you go in and you want to do, I want to do a Raspberry Pi project, and then you go in and you might become a bit lazy and just Control-C, Control-V when you're configuring something in a Linux terminal. We've all been there. But if you do that too much, you actually miss out a bit of the learning. It's not until you actually encounter a problem which isn't documented that you, I did it. And sort of, I mean, it's you have to start somewhere. I mean, you need that instructions very, very clear in the beginning. So that's at least what I think we are doing now this week. We are all plugging in our USB cable. We are starting up the interface. Everything of this is documented on PyCon website, and you can find other tutorials. It's no need spending too much time from the university side on actually producing learning material, which anyway will be outdated in maybe 6 months when they do an update. So it's better to use that material which is out there and focus on actually doing the learning part as absolutely great as possible. So when you think about, like, at least what I'm trying to design, then you have at least an idea of what I'm after. But obviously, you can't go all the way. You still need something in between. But there will be, I mean, we have not at all covered all learning materials, so don't think that. We are only at the second week of the course. There will be more. And I can be honest, I haven't recorded everything yet, so there will be more. So please say. Well, talking too much. Should we go to Discord? And yes, as you see here, there are a couple of I want maybe Eric or Christopher, whoever, if you want to share your screen.
Yeah, I think I'm sharing. I think Eric's sharing too.
Okay.
Which one are you looking at now?
I think it is Eric.
That looks like not mine.
Okay, that's Christopher. Christopher, start.
That's mine. Yeah, so I will start because people have been commenting on that they think that Discord is messy. And just look at mine here. Like, if you were to maximize all of these, I agree that Discord gets messy. Now it's very hard to find what you're looking for. But if you minimize all of these tabs and say you are going to have a workshop, you can just maximize this, and now everything you need will be here, which makes Discord a lot prettier. Also, even if you minimize, you will still see if someone has written something, for example in workshop chat, you will see that channel. So you will be able to read this message and you won't miss anything. Now,
yeah. And when anyway I have Discord open, maybe there actually was some questions in the live lecture questions. And where is it? It's too messy. Yeah, but should we mention something about how are we going to respond to messages, and do we have any ideas on the best practice for this?
Yeah. So for example, if Anders Gran, he tells me that he really likes the roadmap, so maybe I want to respond to Anders Gran, and if I do not press reply here, he will not get a notification. So he might never know that I've responded to him. So what I do is I highlight his message, I press svara or answer, depending on your language, and I write. So now he will get a notification telling him that I have responded to his message.
Yeah.
What you can also do is you can just react on a message. So maybe I like this message. I can like it with a thumb.
Yeah.
Or
and I liked it as well. So, and I actually know, isn't it David that is like the main responsible for the roadmap?
Yeah.
So we should give David Mossat a big shout out for the roadmap. So
for sure.
And there is actually a couple of questions here. Is it the same type of sensors used for tracking a phone or car, elder tracking with the sensor receipt? Yes. Yes and no. I mean, if you're talking about the GPS, actually I can't answer that right away because it depends. But yeah, if it's a GPS sensor, it's most likely the same kind of GPS chip in whatever tracker. Depending on the manufacturer, but what you get from ElectroKit might be on a PCB and then like in a development board setting, so it's bigger, but the sensor might be the same, like the actual teeny sensor. So
And the answer to this question is that it doesn't matter which IDE you use for your project. Choose whichever IDE you feel comfortable with.
A good answer. That's the best answer.
Yeah. A lot of people ask which IDE is the best, and I don't have an answer. I use Visual Studio Code, and I just like it.
And I use both, and I think I've said that before. So sometimes I use Atom, and actually when I work with MicroPython, I just use Atom. For me, I just been stuck to it. I started with it with MicroPython, but for everything else, I use Visual Studio Code. So for me, they are free. Use both. And if you like one, just use that one. It's really, and they are based on the exact same technology. So it's both Electrum apps. So actually, I think that if Atom was first and VS Code after, or the other way around, I might be wrong, but actually, I think they are sort of forks from projects from each other. So they are very much alike in like the technology based. It's Electrum apps, both of them. JavaScript apps. So, yep. Okay. We had, I think, there was messy or not, mute the notifications, minimize categories, code snippets. Eric, you might want to show code snippets.
Sure. Is it my screen?
I think so.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah. So something we can do is writing this, and then if I want to to access that, you just get these special characters. You press Shift, and then you press the button right next to the question mark. So to the right of the question mark and to the left of the, if you're on if you have a regular keyboard. I'm not sure about the Mac keyboard.
It actually depends on also on the language of your layout. So yeah.
Yeah. You'll have to do some research.
Yeah, basically.
And then you can write your code, and then you can just write enter without actually sending the message. And then you finish with this, and then you press enter, and it sends.
Yeah. And you wrote actually Python in the beginning, so now it formats as Python code, and that's pretty cool. So, but even if you don't do that, it will become just a code snippet without. It will still look better even if you don't write out Python. So.
Yeah, like that. Awesome.
Yeah, also makes it super easy to copy the code.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just copy paste.
So that's a great tip. Can you show us the search function, Eric? I think that would make it easy for people to navigate Discord.
Yeah. So one problem we could have is like, okay, so I have this sensor, maybe the DHT11 with very specific sensor. If I go here to hardware, then sensors, and then there's nothing to find. So how can I find it? The solution is the search function. There are many things you can do. You can search for links from specific users. See, for example, I want to search everything that Frederick has ever said on this channel. I can just go through his history and really find. He has 36 pages, so it's a lot. But yeah, if I want to find stuff about the DHT11, very specific sensor, I can just search DHT11. It just comes up. Everything that everyone has ever said about DHT11, including last year. I think this is from 2020, so you can find things that people said.
That is super useful.
Yeah.
So this basically is your Google. You can Google everything on the page.
Yeah.
That's a really nice function, and I'm not sure if people are aware of it. And I can be honest to say that I'm not using the search function. I should probably start using it more. I would say. So
is I think we
search and and reply and talk. Sorry,
muting notifications. So if here we have this in the bot channel, this bot that keeps telling everyone they leveled up. I don't want to hear about it. You can just right click, and then right now I actually muted it myself. But say if it wasn't muted, I can press here, and it says mute channel, and then till I turn it on. So now it's gray. Now I won't hear. And you can do the same thing with every single one that you don't want to hear about. So for example, if, hey, you already bought everything, or you're finished talking with ElectroKit, you can just mute these channels. And you're good to go.
Yeah. And you covered the reply function as well. And I know that there was a discussion about like, I'll rather prefer Slack. I thought that was a very interesting discussion because we actually have the, well, I would say that we have chosen tools very, I would say, carefully this year. We tried a lot of tools last year. So I would say that we are back to like a minimum of tools as much as possible. And in my personal, findings is that Discord might be exactly the best tool for this kind of job, what we're doing. It might be some things that I would wish that there was a threaded function in Discord. But if they were to introduce that, maybe Discord would be something else. Because it's also pretty nice to have like everything just running around. Like, and those of you that have used Slack a little bit more, Christopher, we are using Slack for all our other courses. Usually people end up just not using the reply function anyway. That's like the standard thing. Yeah. So actually, Discord has a point that maybe we don't need it because we can't handle it. I'm not sure. Yeah. So we're not worthy of the thread function. So okay, but I also gave a tip about Gist, the GitHub Gist. So if you want to share a code snippet, actually it can become pretty messy if you share too much code in the Discord channel. I would actually recommend that you have like more than a couple of lines of code, or like just a function or something. If shared it in a Gist, and it's just a way of sharing a code snippet with a link. It's super nice. You can do this in many other ways, but I think Gist is really actually a nice way because it will be also there for a pretty long time, sort of forever, or I'm not sure.
I have no idea.
No. But in that case, the link will actually be still in the Discord channel. So if someone searches for your code snippet, it might actually still be there, even if it's a year from now.
That's true.
Yes. How do we vote when we are requested in Discord?
I'm not sure if she meant as in upvoting and downvoting, because we've done that. But we've also used Menti for the workshops.
Yeah.
So I'm not entirely sure. But in the case that she means upvoting and downvoting, that's just reacting to the post with the upvote and downvote emoji. It was like a kind of comment. I think she means reacting.
Yeah, and then we have let's just continue. So we have a bit more. Let's see. I think we've covered Discord. So if there is anything that you want to, I think this and this wasn't covered, just let us know. And maybe you can have like one workshop session, like learning Discord. If that's needed, I'm fine with that. So because we need to learn the tools that we're using. And actually it is also something that, I mean, we are just sort of assuming that everyone learns Discord on their own. Maybe that was a faulty assumption. That, I mean, that's at least a little bit why we're addressing this on this weekly blog, because I at least have realized that we do get some questions about. I mean, yes, we should have educated everyone just very easily, quickly beforehand, but now we have.
Yeah.
So this will be the Discord session. So, yeah, and is anything else? Like there is like just 2 ending agenda points here. It's not very much. Actually, we have forgotten the most like important thing. What happens next week?
Sensors.
Yeah.
More sensors.
Sensors.
So in terms of workshops, what are you going to do next week?
I think we're just doing sensors.
Yeah.
I think that's what the schedule is saying, right?
Yeah.
I'm actually checking the schedule now as we speak, and it says basic hardware sensor setup, blinking LED, etc. for the first one, and the second one is like questions getting everyone on the page. Now it will be more or less of the same thing, but maybe you're like on the next step with some things. But maybe we want to make it more clear that it's a 10-week course. We are only at week 2, and you're not required to do like you're not going to write your own firmware in C++, not ever during this course. If you don't want to, but it's not that it's covered of the course. This might be simple for many of you. So I'm just saying, getting a LED to blink, you might have done that even like a month before the course started. That's fine. If that's the thing, please join the workshops anyway and help others. Or just listen in and talk talk about the projects. And but also if you haven't done doing that before, like getting an LED to blink, which I think accounts for many of those, well, just follow along. And if you didn't do it this week, no problem. You'll do it next week. It's not that you're like should be stressed of anything at all, as I see it. Take it easy.
We'll always help with the setup, even 5 weeks ahead.
Yeah.
We won't say no, we won't help you. We'll always help you.
Yeah, for sure. If you have managed to connect a sensor today, you are almost halfway there for a passing grade for this course, and it's only 2 weeks in. So
and obviously you need to be documented and you need to do a peer review and such. But in terms of actually connecting things and then doing that, so that's totally correct. And then later on we are going to the hardware part is what we're doing now. So now it's very much hardware focused, but we're soon going into the cloud part. We are actually going into the physical layer of Wi-Fi LoRa, and perhaps you have already touched a little bit on Wi-Fi and such, but we're going into that area. And then it becomes a bit more complex in another kind of way, because there are so many protocols and there's so many. It's infinite ways it can go wrong. So, and that makes it also very fun. So just take it easy and follow along. And there is a lot of new things to learn. If you have just started learning what IoT is, just getting your head around what LoRa and Sigfox is and how these differ from Zigbee and Z-Wave, but don't worry too much. Just start learning by doing. Connect something. Connect it to Wi-Fi. Even if you didn't catch on really what LoRa was, well, you will. We will take it one step at a time, and that's where we all are here. So, but also next week I might give a shout out that we are going to have actually 2 very interesting presentation. Actually, 3 things happen in the lecture side next week. So, and this was actually changed just the other day, but we have SenseBox citizen science, and that is actually a guest lecture which we came in quite late because we got just an answer from them, and I think that's a company in Munich in Germany that are creating educational material for IoT, and they're going to talk about their products and what they do in IoT. So it will be a very educational guest lecture. So that will be with Francis. And then we also have, and this will be super interesting. So on Monday, it will be Francis and SenseBox. And on Tuesday, so I will be hosting a session with DataCake. It's a German company as well, a low-code IoT platform. And you might want to check it out already. I know that they are going to hand out some promotion codes, like getting more devices for free, etc., in their platform next week. But I'll let him do that part. But we are going to have like a workshop together. So this will not be like the ordinary guest lecture. So I think it will be super fun. Simon, which is the founder of this company, will be actually using a PyCom device. He will connect the sensor. We have already like set up like the streaming part. So he will have 2 cameras and everything, and we will see him play with the devices. So that will be actually, I'm looking forward to that. It will be fun. And that will be like starting to think about what can you do with the data when it ends up somewhere. So that's where we're going to scratch on that surface. And then we also have the Python part. So I know that some of you have already, well, all of you might have already done some Python programming. But at this point, it might have been Control-C, Control-V. But there is a lecture on Wednesday on Python programming. So you at least guess the syntax and well, how the language works. So I think more or less that's in the lecture side, what happens next week. And yeah, that might be a mouthful, as you say. So I know that someone mentioned that the teachers are always so optimistic about time that they try to put too much material always. So in that case, I might be guilty this time as well. But
you might be.
The more the merrier, for at least some people.
Yeah. But try to see it as well. Try to follow along and don't take it too serious. It is really. Don't stress yourself too much. If you miss something that is going live because someone thought it was more important with football than lectures, well, you can always look at it in afterwards. And if you miss out on the workshops, it's fine. But really, I would like as many of you as possible to join them, because I think that's one of like the big selling points of this kind, what we're doing here. The opportunity to meet and do things together. So, yeah.
Being uncomfortable together.
Yeah, but that's always something.
Some hard problems and cracking your head towards the wall several times, not getting things to work.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's what it's about.
Yes. So, what are you all doing for midsummer?
Celebrating.
Sleeping.
Yeah.
Food. How about you, Abbe?
I think I will be, coding maybe.
No.
Great.
And you, Fredrik?
Actually, depends on the weather. We are perhaps going some hiking. That will be, that's the plan.
Not in Kalmar, right?
No, Boda Klint, perhaps. That's at least they have something that goes up and down. Here in Kalmar, it's totally flat.
Yeah, that's just a walk.
Yeah, but it's not that you can find any mountains here around. So it's a bit disappointing, I would say. Yeah. At least where I was living last year, that was so good in terms of
Canada.
hiking. Yeah, compared to here,
better.
But yeah. There are things here that are better than.
Yeah.
So it all depends on what perspective you have. So.
Sure.
Yeah, but it sounds like you all have something to do at least, and we might say glad midsummer to all people that are watching.
Yeah. Yes, glad midsummer.
Yeah.
Glad midsommar.
Ja, glad midsommar. And see you all next week.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Goodbye.
Awesome.
Bye.